Hi everyone, welcome to the Bargain Bandit. I'm Stacy and this is episode 13. Today's date is September 6, 2012, and today I'm just going to talk about things that I have recently bought and sold on eBay. Bought at yard sales and estate sales and sold on eBay for profit. I've been doing pretty good, so I've got a few interesting things to show you. And then at the end of the episode, of course, I'm going to tell you my top three favorite things from the past weekend. I apologize if my voice is a little rough. I'm recovering from something, I don't know, maybe West Nile, who knows. So enjoy the episode. Remember that estate sale I told you about oh so long ago, my honey hole, where I bought 18 games for $34? I know you guys are probably sick to death of hearing about this one, but I sold a couple of games again from it. One I sold, I was kind of surprised. I had no idea that this game would sell that quickly. I mean, it sold like that. It's called Life is Rough. I had it sitting on the shelf for a while. You know, sometimes I don't put things up right away. I hold on to them and then, eventually get around to putting them up. And I finally got around to putting Life is Rough up. I put it up for $39.99 with free shipping. Doing the free shipping experiment again, but I think I'm succeeding at it this time. And so the game is designed by this guy Howard Ruff. It's based on his philosophy of economics, and it was in the late 70s, early 80s. This guy wrote a newsletter called the Rough Times. RUFF. His name was Howard Ruff, RUFF, and it was called the Rough Times. And it's an economic simulation game, basically. And it sold like super fast. Like, the person didn't even try and bargain with me or anything on it. They just like snapped that thing up. It's a rare game. There wasn't any other ones for sale on there. I didn't have an idea what to price it at. So I priced it at $39.99, thinking, well, if it's not worth that, somebody will offer me something less. I'm now thinking I maybe underpriced it. Maybe it's worth a lot more. It was in fantastic condition as all the games I got from that guy. I also sold the 1961 copy of Stratego that I talked about in my little Bandit Bites episode. And that was also from that original estate sale. So, I'm doing great on that purchase. That was one of my best purchases to date, definitely. So, those vintage board games, gosh, I wish I could find another place like that. I really do. Like, that was fantastic. A while ago at another sale, I picked up a bunch of older vintage games and a couple of modern ones. They have like a Lutheran style game, some religious based games, but they had one game that I picked up that I'd never heard of it. I wasn't sure what I was getting. It was called Bantu, and I got the games for like 50 cents to a buck each, so it was a really, really cheap sale. Um, and so it's called Bantu, Bantu. And the game, basically, when I was looking at it, kind of reminds me of Sorry, like maybe what Sorry was based on, where you have these little pieces and you have to start at your home base and get all the way around to the finish line. Very, very much like Sorry. It was old, from the 60s. I think it was one of the oldest games I've actually had in my inventory. And I put this one up, and it sold pretty quick too. And it sold to somebody who lives in Australia. I'm actually getting quite a few sales from Australians, so that's kind of exciting. Uh, so the Bantu sold. I think I had it up maybe 2 days when it sold. So it's interesting. I'm never really sure what's gonna sell and how quickly it's gonna sell. Sometimes, I get surprised by some of the games, especially the ones that there's just not a lot of info on in the first place. They're rarer games, but it was in pretty good condition. All the pieces were there. The instructions were there. The piece in the middle was there. So it's a nice, interesting game. Bantu. A while ago, I mentioned a game that I picked up from the makers of Uno called Bumo, and I recently sold that. I picked this one up with a bunch of other games, and unfortunately, a lot of them were incomplete. It's one of the risks I run with my little business here. Is if somebody's got a lot of board games, I'm not going to stand there and look through them because I'm wasting valuable garage sale time. So I picked up a bunch of games from her. The Bumo was sealed in the original packaging, unopened, so I knew there was nothing to worry about with that one. But I picked up a copy of Jumanji and a copy of Home Alone 2 from her as well, and both of them are incomplete and missing critical pieces. So it's kind of a bummer because Jumanji actually is a great seller and it's very profitable. So it was definitely frustrating when I open up a game, so excited, oh, this is gonna be so great, and then it's missing something. But more often than not, my games are complete. So I have a lot of incompletes up there. The interesting thing about incompletes, though, is I'm going to be able to piece some of them out and recoup my money at least. So it's not necessarily a complete loss when I get an incomplete game. Anyway, Bumo was a card game from the makers of Uno, and it sat there for a while, and then finally somebody made an offer. We negotiated a little bit, haggled a little bit, and I'm happy with what I got. So. A few episodes back, I mentioned that I picked up a TI-55-2 calculator, fancy schmancy thing with a case and everything, and I did sell that. They're not valued at that much. I paid probably too much for it given the value of them, but it was my first foray into learning something about calculators, and now I know a little bit more and what to look for. And so the next calculators I come across, I can make a better offer and hopefully better profit. But I still made a profit, and that's really the key, is not losing anything on any of my deals. That's super important. For those that watch my videos regularly, you know that I picked up a bunch of autographed CDs in frames and movie posters in frames, including that Damage Plan one that I sold for like a $70 profit a while back. It was one of my early purchases, and I picked them up for $10. Well, I've sold 2 more things from that, and all I actually have left from that $10 purchase now is the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory poster, which I'm not sure I'm ever going to get rid of, and Edema, which I haven't put up yet, and I need to put it up. The Edema signed CD photograph thing, CD. Anyway, I sold the Queens of the Stone Age autographed one, and I sold the Batman Begins poster. So, that was another great one, just like my little honey hole with the board games. That was a honey hole for music and movie memorabilia. And, you just never know. When you pick something up, I didn't know any of that stuff would be worth it, and I've sold it for huge profit. So, you'll see in a sec how well I've actually done on this stuff. So, if something is priced right, pick it up. You never know. The last things I'm going to talk about before I show you my top 3 picks from the last weekend are things that most pickers are going to know about to pick up. I've been, every time I can see them, picking up copies of Scrabble games with the wood tiles. I picked up 2 more this past weekend, so I was able to put them all together. I had 5 total. I had 480 tiles and 20 pews. I sold both the tiles and the pews, put them in 2 separate lots, did really, really well on it. So, the Scrabble tiles and the Scrabble pews, and at some point I'll be able to sell the Scrabble boards when I have a whole bunch of them too. For crafting purposes, people love these things. I've got a Scrabble Deluxe that is missing a couple tiles, and I think what I'm going to do on that is I'm going to sell the rotating board, and I'm going to sell the tiles separately. I can get probably 10 to 15 for the tiles and 10 to 15 for the rotating board just alone. So, I'm going to start piecing out some of the stuff I have up there just to start freeing up some space. But Scrabble, wooden stuff, it sells super well for crafting purposes. I didn't really go very far this weekend, but I did pick up some interesting things. So let's start with this. My first favorite pick of the past weekend is the Strawberry Shortcake memory game. And these themed memory games do sell, and they're interesting. The problem, of course, with a lot of these games, I saw a Ninja Turtle one a couple weeks ago at the thrift store, and the thrift store wanted $2 for it, but it wasn't complete. So no value there. If these are not complete, there really is no value in them. So the themed ones have to be complete. So this is a strawberry shortcake memory game, and interestingly enough, I just sold my old vintage strawberry shortcake cards. So strawberry shortcake is really popular. She sells well, and you can see it's got the tray, and the instructions are in here, and the box is in fantastic condition. So I picked that up. I paid $1 for it, and I'll make a lot of my buys. I pay $1 for it, knowing I'm only going to make $10 for it. I'll make $10 for this. Because those are the buys where it's going to be my real bread and butter eventually. The big ones where I make $30, $40, that's not where I'm going to be really successful. The next item I picked up was at the same place where I bought the strawberry shortcake. It was a place where there were 4 families doing sales in one driveway, so I had to walk around. Okay, these are your things, I'll pay you, and so on. So it was like 4 sales in one. So the strawberry shortcake I picked up from one person, and this I picked up from another, and I paid 50 cents for it. And it's a big rose. It's got a wire in the middle, so it's like not super easy to bend. You could wrap it around things, I'm sure, though. So, and it's got the rose petal. It's real pretty. After I sold my jalapeno, I've been looking for a kind of interesting plushy item to replace it with, and this is it. So now I've got this to sell, kind of interesting. And I only paid 50 cents for it, and it's a big, big rose. And, I could definitely see there being a lot of value in that. So, and finally, my last item I picked up from an estate sale I went to last Friday. I only went to 2 sales on Friday, and one I picked up $6 worth of stuff, and then the other one I picked up nothing because the place I walked in and I could instantly smell the smoke odor. And so even like the little board games they had, I wasn't even going to take a chance on those. But anyway, this is an Alexandre from Sevilla, and on the back here, it's got from Layla Turner to Aunt Grace, dated December 1958, Spain. What's in the box, you wonder? Well, this is really interesting, and it's not worth as much as I thought maybe it was, but I only paid $2 for it, so I'll definitely get my money. And this is what it is. It is a hand-painted fan from Spain. And on the top, it has a matador fighting a bull. And then in here, it's got 2 people dancing together. It's beautiful. It's in really good condition. And like I said, it's hand-painted. It's from Spain from the 1950s. You can see it's got this beautiful ornate artwork on it. This is what it looks like when it's closed up. It's the back looks really good. It's really, really nice. It's made of a good material, solid plastic, and then of course the hand painting. So this is a really interesting item. It's probably only worth about $20. I mean, so I'll make a good profit on it. But obviously, of course, you find something like this, you're like, ooh, that's going to be worth a lot of money, and a lot of times it tends to not be. But it does have the box still. It's in really good condition. It's been well cared for. So those are my top 3 favorite picks. So thank you for watching. Be sure to leave me some comments. I'm getting more comments, and thank you for the love to the people who've been giving me love. I love you too. I'm glad that people are enjoying the show. That's part of the reason why I do this, is to bring entertainment into people's lives. Okay, forget that. So please comment some more, and ask any questions you want, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Please like me and subscribe. Up here, I have 24 subscribers now. Thank you to all my subscribers. Spread the word. Let people know I'm out here. Let people know about my eBay channel too, because obviously I'm doing this in general to make some money. I want to open my store someday. So my eBay channel is Kraus House of Cards and Games. I have 2 websites, krausehouseofcards.com and krausehouseofcardsandgames.com. And I am on Facebook as Kraus House of Cards and Games. So go look me up on Facebook and like my page there. And thank you to everyone who watches. And I will see you next time. Yes. So, I love roses.